but I don't like this idea of taking advantage of a bad situation to make profit. I think that's, for me, for my morals, that's just not the way you do things. And in order to have a good relationship with an agent, you have to trust that agent.
Yeah, I agree. Especially you're going to do business with them and you do a ton of business. Like, you need to have a strong relationship in place.
And it's not wrong. And nothing wrong with working with 2 or 3 agents.
How do you decide what agents you work with? Is it the people who are willing to put in the work and willing to sit down and have those conversations?
It's the person who's willing to make the phone call.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
kind of rare to some degree these days.
I bought an Applebee's in 2008 while the world was burning and the world was coming to pieces. That brings me to a very interesting deal. Talking about agents. Peter Snell was an agent when the world was burning in 2008, right? He's now a really savvy investor in the Northern Virginia market and nationally, believe it or not. But he called me one day. Mr. Diradour, my name's Peter Snell. I'm a real estate agent in Washington, D.C. Have you looked at the list of Applebee's that are for sale? I said, I don't know anything about Applebee's that are for sale. What are you talking about? Well, Dine Equity has bought Applebee's. Applebee's owned all their own real estate, all their real estate holdings, all their restaurants. They own that land. To do the M&A, Dine Equity is selling at 9 caps. You know why it was 9 caps? Because they couldn't sell it because you didn't have access to capital.
Interesting. Yeah.
I had capital. I had cash on the sidelines. So I said, let me think about it. 2 days later, I'm sitting in my office. Peter Snell drove from Washington, D.C. and knocks on my door and says, I'm Peter Snell, I'm coming in. That's a real estate agent.
That's awesome.
He said, come on, let's get in the car and go look at these things. I said, okay, because there were 9 of them for sale in Richmond. So we drove around, looked at them. I said, you know what? I like that one on Broad Street where Haynes Furniture is Costco.
Yeah.
That one there. I ended up buying that one. You talk about a short exit. That was an exit. I exited out of that in 24 months, but I took that money and I reinvested it. Mm-hmm. So there have been times where I've done exits.
Well, yeah, I think it's a natural progression, especially with the 1031s and stuff.
Well,
I
built a strip mall over in Northside I call it, but at Perriman in 95, where the Starbucks was. I built that Starbucks, and then I built a secondary building. KBS built it for me. GameStop was there, and a nail salon, because every strip mall in the United States must have a nail salon. And I exited out of that 10 years ago, looking at GameStop and going, well, this isn't sustainable.
How did you perform? I mean, you just touched on it a little bit. You said you had capital on the side, but what did the financial crisis look like 2008, 2010 for you? You mentioned you're typically low leverage. That also means you probably do have some capital saved up if you bring conservative and things like that. Were you able to continue buying and take advantage? I guess that's the wrong term, is take advantage of the financial crisis. But
I was able to make a couple of moves, but I stayed relatively quiet except for the Applebee's. And I think I moved one tenant who couldn't withstand the pressures out and put another tenant in. But I don't like this idea of taking advantage of a bad situation to make profit. I think that's, for me, for my morals, that's just not the way you do things.